Also, do our, oh,
Okay, I'm recording and presenting. Sorry. Okay.
All right, perfect. Okay, so our PowerPoint is about consumer decision making, and we based it off of the Forbes article, How Social Media Impacts Consumer Buying. I think you have to click it.
That's me.
Perfect. So the first slide, we have social network. So social networking plays a crucial part on how companies advertise and reach their targeted audience. 7 out of 10 people use social media, according to our Forbes article. Companies need to know which demographics of people use which social media apps. So like older generations are more likely to be on Facebook, while younger generations are more likely to be found on apps like TikTok. So advertisers have to take into account if they're selling maybe a product towards younger demographics, they might want to buy ads on TikTok instead of Facebook and vice versa. And then an example too, like brands promoting clothing are more likely to stay on photo sharing apps like Instagram because it's a little harder to advertise clothes on like a 10-second video. People kind of lose what it's like really about. And then my tip is just think about what app you're using and thinking about like why you might be seeing this ad. And the next slide.
Okay.
Perfect. So I thought that this was a super interesting little infographic. So it says 53% of people use Facebook to interact with a brand, 40% like a product on Facebook, 20% uses Facebook to research products at least once a week, 42% wrote an online post about a product or a brand, and 33% wrote a product review online. And I know I'm definitely part, maybe not so much Facebook, but about other different social media apps. I definitely look at things, look at the ads, and yeah.
all right. Another tactic that businesses and companies use are targeted ads and algorithms. Corporations, businesses, and governments are constantly collecting information and data about user demographics, search history, and internet engagement. Selling is a science. Everything that a consumer sees has likely been a result of a bunch of data that's been curated specifically for them, based on this information, which can be used and sold for targeting marketing ads that are tailored to an individual's interest, age, gender, profession, and geographic location. Businesses can set a budget and specifically select certain times, locations, and frequency for their advertisements to appear to the targeted audiences. They can also conduct analytics on the engagement and effectiveness of their advertisements, including the number of clicks, the number of views, and successful purchases generated from the ads. Something that consumers should do would
Shoot, I just lost Wi-Fi.
go to a website and you get the little pop-up window that says consent to like share all data. It's likely being used for that purpose.
Okay, next thing that this article did a really good job of mentioning was streamlined purchasing. So this is the ability to make in-app purchases. And the first time we actually saw this was in 2014. Facebook created a buy call to action, so that when you see ads on Facebook, you can actually just click on them to actually buy it, and you see it on the pages that you post. Instagram now has a tab called the shop tab, which is strictly just for looking at items that you can purchase. So it's basically like being on an online store website where you can just click the shop tab and it just filters through items that they think you would like based off that algorithm as well. So the development into the ability to make in-app purchases without disrupting your scrolling on social media has become a huge thing. People get so focused on wanting to stay on social media. If you can see something that you like on it and it's that easy to buy, you're more likely to just make that purchase. So consumer tip I thought of was the easiest way to make in-app purchases is to have your Face ID set up and your Apple Wallet set up on your phone. So if you feel like you're making a lot of impulse decisions and buying a lot of things through social media apps, you can remove your Face ID and your Apple Wallet to make it easier. Basically, like the easier it is to buy something, the more likely someone's going to do it. If you want to stop buying so many things on the app, you can take away some of those things that make it so easy if you're trying to control your spending. So that's a good way to kind of filter out maybe some impulse to like buying that you're doing, or you keep buying things that you don't need and you feel like it's a problem. The other thing the article talked about was consumer engagement. This was talking about how consumers gravitate towards brands that are humanized and relatable and brands that they feel like they have a personal connection to. And that has to do with the way the brand interacts with their consumers and their customers. There's this expectation for brands to interact with their consumer in a sincere way so that the consumer feels like, okay, I'm buying from a brand that I can trust and that I know and I like, and I feel like good people work for this brand. You have examples of brands respond to you in comments on Instagram, or they come up with these giveaways that they post about on Instagram or Facebook that gets their consumers more involved in what they're doing. And positive consumer engagement is super important because it increases the likelihood of a consumer recommending that brand to someone they know. So if you have a positive experience with the brand, you're going to be more likely to tell someone you're hanging out with about it. And doing so builds a relationship between the customer and the followers, and that increases consumer satisfaction, which is really important to businesses. And from the article, they just had this, they made a good point that businesses know they need to be social on social media. If you don't have businesses interacting with their consumers, that's less likely to keep the consumer happy, which is great for them. But for a consumer tip, you want to be aware of the effect consumer engagement can have on you and how much it might be persuading you to make certain purchases or to recommend it to someone. If someone recommends a brand to you, they might have had a really good experience, but that doesn't mean you're going to have a good experience. You can't always trust that these like sincere interactions are genuine. Sometimes it's just for the following and it's just to build up their business when really they might not be meaning what they're doing. So that can be really tricky, but businesses really try to focus on consumer engagement. It can be easy as a consumer to get wrapped up in that.
That one ties nicely into my next point about customer reviews, and continuing on with the talk about engagement. Things have changed online now. Well, they've changed in general. It's not just over-the-counter stuff anymore. It's not waiting on the phone for hours anymore to talk to somebody. It's pretty instantaneous messaging with a person or posting a review and then having someone comment on that review. And they know that that's where the power lies. A negative review can really be detrimental to their brand. So they try to be as engaging as possible, like was mentioned before about being social on social media and social listening. But the things to watch out for when it comes to reviews are fake reviews. I found this really cool graph about that, talking about the things to look for when trying to suss out whether a review is genuine or whether the company put that on. And I need to pull that up a little bigger so I can see it. No, I had it right here. Okay. In a survey taken for a Bright Local in 2022, 45% of people agreed that if the review is in that person's opinion over the top in praise, then it's most likely a fake review. 40% said this review is one with lots of reviews for with similar content, so a lot of the similar phrasing or terminology. 38% this viewer is anonymous or is using an obvious pseudonym. 36% this review is, in your opinion, over the top in its negativity. 32% said the review is one of the few positive reviews amongst many negative reviews. You should be wary of something that just has a whole bunch of 5 stars and a whole bunch of 1 stars. 31% this review just had a star rating and hardly any words. 26% the business owner has responded to the review and has suggested that the review is fake. 25% the reviewer uses all capital letters. 21% this review is one of the few negative reviews amongst mostly positive reviews. 16% the reviewer has no profile picture, and 12% the reviewer mentions staff by name. Let me pull that up here. Full screen again. Okay, so in reading the article talking about social media, they also talk about them getting an influencer as part of their brand to try to influence you, which is an age-old using an actor or celebrity to try to sell a product, which is, you know, also something to watch out for. Don't let your opinion about someone completely color how you go for a product. But if there is precedent for that person being someone who's had a bunch of good quality products that they've been associated with, that could be a good sign. But in my opinion, the best policy is still positive word of mouth from people you trust. You can ask other people that you know online who have done similar products. So, and then the next slide after this, do I click or do you click to get that to go? Okay. There's just a couple of other fun and colorful charts that I saw on the website talking about reviews and more numbers. I just wanted to include them all, but I'm not going to read from them all. So,
sweet. Here are our references. So we'll post this video as well as a link to our PowerPoint. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.